I'm Sherri, a CEO, speaker, coach, and author. As a business leader, I'm on a mission to empower women everywhere to embrace their most authentic self by challenging what you already know, then stretch to consider a different perspective. I share moments with people all over the world who are already on that path and are willing to share that perspective with me. Join me as we transparently consider this. Hey, y'all. We are back with another episode of Consider This. Welcome to season 2. This is a podcast. If it's your first time here, this is a podcast where we have conversations that explore how we as leading business women can empower one another to be our most authentic self. We share practical ways to do that. How do we live authentically, professionally, as well as personally as well? Because as leading business women, it's not easy. What to wear, what to say, when to make the next big move, what to transform, right? All of that, and then really making sure that we empower others around us for them to be authentic as well. Listen, there's a lot to consider. So we love to have conversations with others that can really push the envelope with us and allow us to see things from a different perspective. Join us, get comfortable as we together consider this. Today, we have a guest. Listen, I have not been so happy to have a guest in a long time. I'm excited. Today on the show, we have Miss Candice, the beautiful Candice Denise. She is a self-care coach who has always kept it real with me. I can tell you from the very moment I met her, it was authentic, it was genuine, it was amazing. She's been working with driven and ambitious female entrepreneurs within different industries for over a decade and all over the world, to be honest with you. And the thing is that's always pained her is when she saw their faces and after she asked, but how are you taking care of yourself? Their faces, right? Made her say, I need to do something here. I met her as a content coach. She has morphed into a wonderful, amazing, powerful self-care coach that helps you take care of yourself while you take care of your business. Please welcome Miss Candice Denise. Yay! Thank you so much, Candice, for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We met on Instagram, y'all. Let me just let everybody know. We met on Instagram. A friend of hers sent me a live that she was doing at the time. Remember that? And I jumped on.
Literally jump right on.
I jumped on middle of the day and I was listening to her and I was like, okay. But there was something different about her. There was a genuine, authentic, it didn't seem scripted to me. It seemed like she really meant what she was saying. And she was speaking my language because I was at a place in my own business where I was like, I'm shifting, but how do I need, and she was saying a lot of things at that time that really helped me transform and get to the next level in my own business. And here we are transforming again.
Yet again.
Could you please just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do as a self-care coach? What is a self-care coach?
Yeah. So essentially, as you said, Sherri, so eloquently, I was a content coach and creative director and decided that as I was working with the women entrepreneurs that I got a chance to coach prior to, but with their content, I was noticing when I asked the question, like, what are you doing to take care of you? Because of course you're taking care of your business. And I'm always concerned, not just about my client when it comes to their business, but I'm concerned about them as women, who they are, what they're dealing with. And so as people, because we're not entrepreneurs, we're women first and then we're entrepreneurs. And so I would hear them say, I don't really take care of myself, or I don't really have time for that, or it's on my to-do list and, all of these different things. And I was just like, that sucks, because I don't think we always realize that the key to having a sustainable business is having a sustainable you. And it was something that just kind of hit me like, I do this already for myself. And I had to learn, so I don't sit here saying that this was something I just was this guru. It was like, I had to learn to do this for myself, caring for my well-being. And self-care essentially means caring for your well-being emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually. and doing anything that's going to make you feel like you're loving on yourself a bit more, you're caring for yourself, and you're ultimately helping your well-being for the positive. So
Mm-hmm.
as a self-care coach, what I'm doing is help guiding these same women entrepreneurs versus guiding them in their content. I am helping to guide them in how to find simplified ways to do their self-care. Because
I
a
love it.
lot of times people get so lost in the trendy things of self-care, right?
Mm-hmm.
Massages and spa days and things like that, but they don't realize true self-care is about being simplified. And
Come on.
it doesn't take a whole lot. It may be cleaning your eyeglasses, literally, so that you can see clearly, so that you can be able to focus better. It could be making sure you have your water every day to hydrate. The smallest things that are adding value to you so that you can be better for your business.
Mm-hmm. I love that because we don't take enough time for ourselves. You know that.
At all.
That's a given. And can I just be honest, even as Black women, we
Oh,
just have this go, 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 go. And I'm not just leaving it to a race, but I'm just saying as a Black woman, as
yeah. Yeah.
we just go, 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 go. So even as entrepreneurs and as business women, it's the same kind of mentality. So somebody does have to say, okay, hold on a second now. How are you taking care of yourself? And I really believe in this because I really believe about authentic leadership. I believe in bringing your most authentic self to the forefront of whatever you're doing in business in your career. But how do you do that if you're not even aware or taking care of you? So I love that. I love that. Let me ask though, backstory on how you got here because we often see the Instagram finished Candice Denise, the one that we know when you listen, let me tell you, don't even play around when it comes to her content. She is on it. She's a real queen. I call it a reels queen because she'll get on there and she'll be cracking me up with the reels as well. She's really funny. You're very creative. But like, were you always this passionate as a child? Did you always want to become an entrepreneur? Were you always creating? Tell us like a little bit, just a really quick of
Yeah.
how it was and how we got here now.
I've always been very creative as a child. Like all of the toys that I wanted when I was a child were either like fashion things or like coloring things, artsy kind of things. I was never into like video games or, board games, all that stuff. I wanted all kinds of creative, artsy types of things. So
Mhm.
as a young child, that's always been in me. Believe it or not, I actually tried to suppress it because I was taught like you go to college and you study something that you can get a job in. Like artsy things aren't what you can get a job in. So
Mm.
I went to a high school that was majored in science or engineering, and I studied science. And so when I graduated from high school, I figured when I go to college, I should study science too. So I actually went to college to study general science with a concentration in biology, and that's what I got my degree in. Because,
What? Are
yeah,
you
like,
kidding
I
me?
literally have a degree in general science with a concentration in biology because I
By the
literally
way, so
thought,
fun fact.
fun fact, I have a degree that has nothing to do with what I do today. Yeah,
Wow.
and I thought I'm going to go to medical school because this is what I'm supposed to do. Like this is how you're supposed to get a job. It has nothing to do with anything artsy. And after I graduated from my 4-year degree, from my 4-year university, I called my mom like junior year and I said, I don't think I want this science degree. And she's like,
Mm.
well, you're going to graduate with that science degree because that's what I'm paying for.
Okay.
And so I
So
did.
just to let you know,
Just to let you know, sister, we're not doing that. So I
we
was like,
gonna finish
okay.
this.
So when I graduated, I said, you know what? I'm going to go to art school. I'm going to go and I studied fashion marketing and I went to another school so I could like literally, because it just wasn't leaving me. And I was like, I
Right.
think this is something I'm supposed to do something with this. And so
Right.
that became like a journey in itself. In the sense of like the artsy part. Now, as far as entrepreneurship, I'm an accidental entrepreneur. I didn't think that
Come
this
on,
was
Miss Accidentally.
accidental.
What?
I had no idea that this is something that even was a possibility because I'm actually like the first legit entrepreneur in my family. I'm going to say it like that.
Wow. So you didn't even have other entrepreneurs that did it. You just said this is something. So you bounce to the beat of your own
I
drum,
do, and I
basically.
really am that type of person anyway. Like as a kid, I just kind of always bounced to the beat of my own drum. As an adult, if it
Yeah.
felt good, if it's something I wanted to try, I did. A lot of mistakes along the way, right? That's what humans do. And still to this day, I don't think you leave this earth without having them. But I was like, I met a young woman, and I talked to her. I had met her at a networking event, and she was an entrepreneur. And I said, hey, I'd like to intern with you, and started interning with her and really loved it. After a year, I decided I was ready to leave my 9-to-5 and try this for myself. And she was like, well, let's start a business together then. And became my first business partner. I left my job, I think maybe 6 months after making that decision. And it was hard. I was nervous, but I figured if I don't do it now, I'll never do it. And sometimes you got to fly afraid.
That girl. So what is fascinating to me right now that I'm hearing you? I'm learning all about you right now. I feel like I'm getting to know you all again.
We are.
Because it's like, wow. First of all, I didn't know that you were the only entrepreneur in your family. I felt like you definitely came from entrepreneurial background.
No.
But what was also amazing to know is that you not just that you left your 9-to-5, but the journey. What I love to hear is like that journey that you took with, I'm going to follow this thing inside me that says somehow art and creativity is a part of my purpose. Yep. And I love that you follow that. A lot of times we don't follow that. It's a big step to leave a full-time job now. We know. Come on now. That's security sometimes for some people.
Yes.
It's a salary. It's a I know how much I'm making. I can make a budget, So what did you have to let go of for your to let go of your full-time job and become an entrepreneur? What mindset did you, because I know there's a lot of people probably listening or watching thinking that they too have that thing that's saying follow it, but there's fear there, right? What made you say, I'm just going to take a risk and just leave this full-time job?
If I sit in this moment and transcend myself back in that time, I really did have to fly afraid. That was the first thing, is that I knew I think sometimes we're waiting for the fear to pass before we do something. And I have to understand that the fear is what's actually going to probably make me do it and do it well, because I'm so afraid of failing that I'm going to not get lax. I'm going to go after this. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to take care of the things I need to take care of. So that was first. The second thing, of course, I had to have a nest egg. And I'll be very honest, a lot of people don't know this part. I had a angel investor, someone like a friend of mine who believed in what I was doing and wanted to actually invest in my business. So I had already saved up enough, at least 6 months worth of salary to be able to live off. And then this very dear friend of mine who believed in my business at that time years ago said, I want to plant this seed. I want to be an angel investor and, go do this. And I thought, wow, I know that's not everybody's story, but I was grateful to have that added to what I had already saved.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is important to tell the right people. So you have to be discerning about who to tell. And then I also did not tell my family, though. So for a month, I was an entrepreneur, and they were thinking I still worked my 9-to-5, because I knew that one of the things I had to do was understand who to tell something to and who not to. Because again, when you're already fearful, you don't need additional fear coming in.
Come on, preach that.
I knew my family was going to say, are you sure? Are you going to be able to take care of yourself? This, that, and the third. And I didn't need that. I had to be very focused on what I knew to be true and what I knew I could do, and give myself that chance without adding additional voices. And so sometimes that means moving in silence, and I had to move in silence with them. So by the time I told them I was an entrepreneur, I had signed at least a few clients by this time, and I was already working so that I could say, hey, I'm doing this, and this is where I am actually.
Right. Wow. Okay, we're going to pause for a cause, and we're going to come right back and talk about that. She's talking about not letting her right hand know what her left hand is doing. What? Let's take this commercial break and be right back. Oh, my Lord.
Tap into a sisterhood of women founders and entrepreneurs with the PGW sorority. Go to PrettyGirlsWork.com and click on Pledge PGW. Fill out your pledge form and pay your monthly or annual dues. Request access to our members-only Facebook group. Then join houses that are specific to your industry or the skills that you want to develop in your business. You can take advantage of free tools and resources and gain access to courses, workshops, masterminds, small group coaching, and private mentorship exclusive to members. Pledge PGW and start scaling your business today.
We are back with Miss Candice Denise. She just said a mouthful. We need to pause for this because I think it's so important what you just said. Sometimes we need to move in silence. And can I say sometimes we don't know how to do that? We need to learn sometimes to believe within ourselves and trust ourselves enough to say, you know what, I'm not going to tell everybody. I'm not going to even tell the people that I'm closest to because they'll probably talk some quote unquote sense into me and tell me how I cannot do it. I have an eldest son right now that is he's a real estate developer. He's embarking on a very wonderful journey of having his own development. And someone who's mentored him has kind of given him a lot of reasons why he can't do it. And he's like, yeah, well, I'm just going to take a step of faith. How about that? And so I think that's what I'm hearing you say, that you sometimes need to take that step of faith and believe within yourself that what it is that you are feeling, your truth, that push, that drive that says you're going in the right direction, keep on going. You need to listen to that. Let me ask one last question, because I know time is of the essence right now. If you were speaking to your younger self, the young Candice, knowing what you've known now, even with all of the failures, because we have to fail in order to be able to succeed and be able to know almost like what we cannot do, what's not really us. And so life calls that a failure. I actually call it just growth. But what would you say to your younger self, your younger Candice, that you know now that you didn't know then about being authentic in business?
Oh my gosh. That's such a great question. Oh, I think like almost get a little teary-eyed thinking about her, right? And what to her. And about being authentic in business. I think that I say, give yourself more grace because you're going to need it. And you're not going to need it from others as much as you're going to need it from yourself.
Yes.
Because a lot of times we're looking for so many others to give us grace and we don't give it to ourselves. And I would tell her, please build in intentional grace for you so that you can be able to be authentically you, right? Be able to be yourself, knowing that you're not perfect, knowing that you have your grows and your glows, because that's what I like to call them, right? I'm growing in some areas and I'm growing in others. And that you don't have all the answers and you don't need to have all the answers. And it's going to be okay. You're going to find your way. You're going to figure it out. But do know that as long as you remain true to who you are, keep listening to that part of you, almost that child part of you, right? Don't lose part of her because she's going to help you be authentic. Because when we're children, when we're our youngest, we're our most authentic selves. It's when life starts to happen that we start putting on these masks, and because experiences start happening, we don't feel like we can be as authentic or as transparent because we feel like we're fearful of being judged.
Yes.
And so it's like, hold on to that young you. Hold on to her when you're growing in business because you're going to need her so she can help you remain staying in grace and staying honest and authentic in who you are.
Wow. I think that is that's really powerful. I think I hear you when you say you almost got a little teary-eyed because when you think about her, sometimes life can kind of hush her and quiet her, right? And we really need to give her a voice. We need to allow her to be able to say exactly what she feels and allow her to say her truth. But also what she's feeling is valid. I think that sometimes as business women, when we get to an adult age, we think that, well, that was when I was a kid or that was when I was younger. But as you just said so wonderfully, but that was when you were your most authentic self.
Yes.
And I think that's the part that sometimes we don't get. that we didn't have to ask anybody for permission to be silly or to say things or do things. We just were free. I have a 5-year-old granddaughter, and when I tell you, she will come in here, abuela. Like, look at my hair. You see my hair. You see my song. You know what? I have this song. Listen to my song. She don't care about the song if it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, she's going to sing the song to the top of her lungs. And why don't we do that? Even in business. And I say that to the listeners and the ones that are watching. Why don't we do that? Why don't we take, those risks? We call them risks. I just say stepping out in who you truly are authentically.
I love that.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. What's next for you, Candice? What's next on? What are your dreams, aspiration goals? Where are we going with this self-care? Come on, talk to me.
Oh my gosh, there's so many things, and that's the beautiful thing too about entrepreneurship is that you get to curate and create it however you want and steer the ship in whichever direction you feel like going. I think my next really big thing I'm working on a self-care retreat next year. Yeah, so we have a part of my business is I have a community for women entrepreneurs, a self-care community. And so either you can coach with me or you can join my community. And so for the community aspect, I am working on our first in-person, we have monthly events, but this is going to be our first in-person retreat. So I'm really excited about bringing these women together for some intentional downtime, but also pouring into themselves time. So that's really where my focus is right now. And I've learned to focus on not so many things at once,
girl,
but one thing and do it well.
One thing at a time, and give your all, and then you're able to be present as well.
Yeah.
Right? And experience it fully. Listen, I want you guys to follow this wonderful woman. She is, when I tell you, inspirational, powerful, creative. If you feel like you're in a slump and you just need inspiration to be like, yeah, this is truly who I am authentically, or she's a photographer. She does so many things, but I really, really do appreciate the fact that she's a self-care coach, because we do not take care of ourselves enough. I would encourage you to follow her on social media at Candice Denise. I would be a part of the community, be a shero instead of just a CEO. Come on. And I'd love to be a part of that retreat. Please send me all the details for that.
I will.
Follow her. She is someone that you want to continue to follow. I've been following her. I definitely am creeping on your Instagram as much as I can. What we love to do is leave our listeners with the last thought. And so it sounds like this. If you remember nothing else I said, remember this. So if there is one thing that you would love for our listeners and people that are watching, even on YouTube, to remember about everything that you said, what would you say? And the statement should start, if you remember nothing else I said, remember this.
If you remember nothing else I said, remember this. Sometimes flying afraid is the only way that you're going to get there.
Look at you. You know what? I just love her. Do you not just love her? Sometimes flying afraid is the only way you're going to get there. Listen, thank you so much, Candice Denise.
Thank you.
Being here with us. Thank you for sharing your heart always.
Thank you.
I love you so much. Thank you.
I love you, Sherri. This has been amazing. Thank you so much. I love Consider This.
Thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon. For everyone that is listening, please, please, please like, subscribe. Make sure that you are not missing an episode of Consider This, where we are empowering you to think about things outside your scope, outside your perspective. She said, if you remember nothing else, fly afraid, you'll still get there. Thank you for tuning in. See you next time. Consider This.